Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 357
357.
of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mousefan Travel. MEI and Mousefan have been booking trips for over 20 years, and they can help guide you through. There's so many changes now, whether it's resorts or restaurants that might be open, and just there's so much different right now.
Even parks, like we're still waiting for Disneyland to announce an opening date.
Yeah, I mean, so much is changing, so check with them, and especially, if you're looking toward the holidays and 2021, that to me is going to be a better bet as far as booking.
Absolutely. And now we are going to talk about our 2 visits to the Magic Kingdom. Yes, we have finally been back to a Walt Disney World park, and we were pretty excited. This was the cast member day. We are fortunate to have been invited to that.
Yeah, we have a cast member friend who at the very last second was like, do you want to go to the Magic Kingdom? And it's like, yeah, okay, thanks, because we already had the pass holder preview book.
And a few things we noticed right away is they parked cars every other car and then later on filled in those available spaces. And also there were no trams running, so you had to walk to the temperature check area, and that's where we are now.
And it's funny, we arrived at almost 10 a.m. Just to try to avoid any crowds.
Park opened at 9.
Right, and it's funny because the second day that we went even a little later, and this feels so busy now.
Right, because there was literally nobody there when we went
the second day,
pass holder day, and we didn't get there until almost 1 o'clock. That
right.
was why.
And I personally just prefer, if we're going to go to the parks, to arrive at a time when nobody else is coming. That is my preference.
Yeah, we would recommend at least 2 hours after opening time if you've been to the parks a lot and you just want to have a pleasant entrance. Although 1 hour, this was not bad at all. And we're going to show you here the first time we took the monorail. And even the monorail has some changes. They assign you to a specific number and you wait to board a specific car. So you're sort of seated, and you can see the cars have a partition in between, and you have to sit on one of the seats, and then you may or may not have guests sit on the other seat depending on how busy it is.
I didn't like having guests on the other seat. One of them took off her mask to adjust it, and you just don't know what people are going to do. What if one started coughing? I'm not totally comfortable with that, but I am very comfortable with the ferry boat, especially arriving several hours later than the park opened, and there was nobody there. We had 5 people plus cast.
Right. This was from the Annual Passholder Day, and as you could see, we had the boat pretty much to ourselves. I don't think there was anyone else on the second level at all, so it was quite wonderful. Now, I have heard that in the early morning when the ferry boat is running, it doesn't have full social distancing. People kind of ignored it from what I've read online. So I don't know. We haven't experienced that ourselves, but this was wonderful.
I've read one experience like that. So the thing is, anything can happen, but for me, I'm trying to stay healthy, but enjoy a place I love also. So to be able to be on this boat, we had the top level all to ourselves.
Not to mention it's outside.
Plus it's outside.
Everything is supposed to be much better, and we try to stay outside as much as possible.
Right. I mean, 99% of my time is outside, because that is the healthier way to do it. And we get these beautiful views too. So
let's just talk about how wonderful it was to be back. I mean, I was very excited the first time we were heading over to the Magic Kingdom. It had been 4 months since we'd been in a Disney park, and there's the castle, the beautiful castle, which I actually like the new coloring. I'm getting used to it.
And I was going to say, plus apprehensive because you don't totally know what to expect. But now, if we don't arrive till 1 p.m., we know what's going on in the parks, and that helps too.
Right. We'll be visiting the other 3 parks this coming week, starting with Animal Kingdom tomorrow,
as long
Monday,
as they stay
as
pretty
long as it's
empty.
open, which I assume they
No,
will be.
And pretty empty is what
right.
I was saying.
Right.
So there were 2 ferry boats going, plus the monorails. And also, you mentioned the castle, which sort of is kind of an odd salmon color with the blue, but it doesn't look bad or anything in the park. It's fine.
Both days were beautiful days. You could see the entrance dots in case there are long lines. You have a designated place to wait, and you could see the tiles that used to have the names that you could buy. I forget what they're called.
The Walk Around the World.
Walk Around the World. That's right. And those are now all gone. It's an all new entrance experience.
But also they used to have that that really nice Magic Kingdom.
The circle.
Yeah, I like that out here. So, but there's Mickey. Mickey actually looks really good. They did a very nice job with the floral here, and it's been a couple beautiful days.
And you can see the happily ever after poster has been removed because for now there's no fireworks and there's no full parades going on.
This was the first day we went in, and I mentioned, like, our second day was nothing like this. And this wasn't even that busy. It didn't make me uncomfortable. We've been out to Universal over the last, month and a half or whatever. So this was,
It was actually right here was very emotional because it was the first time I had turned the corner and been on Main Street and seen the castle. So to me, it was really, really wonderful. And this is a nice little bonus that they have. They have these little character
cavalcades and such.
This I call a trolley welcome or whatever.
I don't know. We'll make words up, but
the Pooh characters. How nice! We have Rabbit. You have Eeyore there and Piglet.
But why is Pooh on the Fantasyland float instead of the trolley float? I want to know that because this is the Pooh characters, and yet Pooh is missing and is elsewhere.
Well, there's not a lot of room on that trolley.
Pooh's with Gaston. Like, why would Pooh be with Gaston instead of with Piglet?
Look at how cute Piglet is there.
I actually like these in a way better than the main parade. I don't really like waiting for parades as much as I love Festival of Fantasy. I just really like these character interactions.
And the same characters were also out meeting in front of the Crystal Palace, and that's usually where they are for the character meals there, which of course aren't happening right now. But this is nice. You're able to come up to them and get a selfie, and you're sort of close but far enough where it's at a safe distance. And at least when I was there, the other guests were very respectful not to crowd too much and get into that 6 foot closeness.
It was nice to see the characters in different ways, and we normally don't see these characters as much, so I actually missed them here. I saw more of the characters at the train station. Look how cute he is.
Yeah, and this is more of a surprise and delight. None of this is on any official map. It just happens at will, so you really can't plan for it. Now, this was back to the first day, the cast preview day. And it looks like the crowd level here, I've been told, is more what you'll see for a normal day. And the annual pass day was just extremely light.
We can't guarantee that, though. I don't know. I think they're going to start adding more guests as long as the parks stay open and everything. But I don't know to what level. I don't like that the character performers. I don't like the performers' face ones don't have masks here. Almost everybody in the park has a mask and a shield, or a mask and plexiglass as far as the cast members. 2 forms of protection, and they have none. And I don't like that.
Yes, what a welcome. That's the first thing you saw was Clarabelle with it. Well, that's a discussion we're going to have later when we see the princesses.
Okay, well, we'll
because
discuss
that's
it again
been
later.
A big discussion online. And this was the first of the cavalcades we saw, so I thought it was pretty awesome. And I know what you're saying, and you're going to see those performers without masks. And at first I was like, wow, I was surprised because the handlers and everybody had masks, and these guys are awful close. So I agree. I think it would set a good example.
We want to protect our cast members.
If they had them. But I really wanted to talk more about that when we see the princesses, because I actually think the princesses would set a great example by having a mask too.
Like Ariel could have, a shell mask or something.
Sort of like the Scooby-Doo characters at Universal. So, but anyway, we'll discuss that later on when we see the princesses. Here is the castle. Look at how nice. Very reminiscent of the Disneyland 50th overlay they had here at Walt Disney World for a Disneyland 50th, when they had all the gold and the filigree and things around the castle, if you remember those days.
I just call it like salmon. Mm-hmm. It just looks like a salmon color.
It's a very Paris color to me.
Paris,
to me it is. It's pink, or Paris is.
Paris is pink, and I think that the Paris is my favorite of all the castles right now. This is, again, not bad. Some of these colors are going to fade because our sun is so harsh here. The blue especially, who knew how faded the castle was till they redid it.
And I love this, having the stepsisters greet in Cinderella Castle. It was very nice of Cinderella to let them come out there and talk to the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little far. Like, it's hard. It's like, okay, well, I've got my my long lens here, so now I can see them.
Well, it's not great for a selfie, but it's nice for fun. They're always. I always enjoy the stepsisters. they always provide good entertainment. So, and plus it's always interesting to see anything in that location because you never do. I don't think I've ever seen anybody up there.
I would actually bring them down somewhere just a little closer, but any entertainment, I actually prefer the overall entertainment than what we normally get in a lot of ways.
Well, it's lower key, less stress. You don't have to wait in big lines and big crowds to interact with them. And as a big fan of the characters, I love this. I think it'll be very nice for however long they have to do it this way.
But they are far, like they are much farther than other ones. And also, one of the custodians here was making Mickey Mouse. We haven't seen that in a while. So it's always nice to have
magic,
Yes.
There really is a lot of magic going on at the Magic Kingdom. I just loved it. I felt all these little touches that you'd sometimes forget about really adds to the day for me.
I mean, we're Disney fans, and so to be able to be here, look at the Haunted Mansion. Obviously, this is the second day because there was like really nobody there.
This was the first ride, though, the first actual ride that we rode with our friend Jerry, our cast member friend. And the day that we went, the first day, there was a small queue, and I think that's because they were cleaning the doom buggies. But this time we walked all the way through, not stopping until we hit the doom buggy. So it was pretty amazing.
It was like safe, like walking around my neighborhood safe on this day, which was very nice.
Maybe one of the best Magic Kingdom days I can remember
It's one
having.
of my favorites. It is.
And you can see the spacing markers here. And now there's a change with the stretching room. You no longer go into the stretching room for the whole stretching activity.
Well, there's no stretch room, essentially. You just walk through it.
Right, but you can still look up, and there's still mood lighting, and I've adjusted the lighting so you can see it a little better. But there's no actual stretching room.
There's no stretch
activity.
room. You
it does
walk
not
through
stretch.
it. And the one good thing is, and you're probably going to show it, at the very end, I always call it the funnel because I hate it with a passion.
It is a funnel.
Yes, I hate when you go into that last area before going on the doom buggies,
and Here you're going to model the easiness of the lack of funnel.
Very often I will not ride the Haunted Mansion because I dislike this area so very much when everybody's just kind of, funneling in together.
But now you don't even have to go through and around. You just go directly on. See how this is? You don't even take that little sideway because you couldn't, unless you put plexiglass there, which they may end up doing. You don't need to utilize that.
I love that. And I love that they have that so many of the cast members have shields and that mask. And I mentioned some of them have masks and plexiglass. Almost all of them have like 2 protections, which I think is very important right now because no matter what, this is going to be for a long time.
And I want to mention that they are sending you at least one empty doom buggy between parties, and sometimes 2, but maybe just because it was such a very slow day. Now we're also going to look into Memento Mori, the Haunted Mansion shop. Now they limit how many people can get in here, and you can see the plexiglass behind the register, a happy cast member there. And a lot of the same merchandise. It's a very small shop, so I imagine the capacity will also be very small. But I figured this would be the best day of all to check this out.
Yeah, and it was nice to be back in here and to be able to check out the merchandise. And, this is one of my favorite little shops.
And it was air conditioned.
And it was air conditioned, and that was really nice because they do have like a mask-free areas with air conditioning, but I don't believe in going inside without that mask.
More characters out and about, the country bears on the balcony.
I spent so much time over here because I just loved seeing the country bears interacting with the parade floats or just doing their thing. I just thought it was a lot of fun.
Right, and they're right outside of their location. And this is another cavalcade, and this is Tinkerbell. Now, you may remember this float. We've seen it I think it debuted at the Pirate and Princess parties. And it's also been in Mickey's Boo-to-You parade, and I think maybe some other special parades.
Well, I saw this go by like at least 3 times on the cast member day, but I didn't see it go by at all on the pass holder day.
And I haven't seen anybody post pictures of it, so I don't know if it's still happening or not, but it's listed as something that could happen, so it's nice. I do like that they do it.
And you know what? I like the character interactions and such.
Well, I like the fact that she is interacting with the country bears. That was the funniest part of all, and we're going to see a little of that in a moment.
Well, I took just a little video where the country bear, I think it was Wendell, was up there just, waving to her.
And I think we're going to pan up and see there they are right there. So it was great. I like
that's your video, but I posted some also. I just thought that was, so I like these little interactions, and you can see this is that first day, and it, once you're in the park and walking around, there was almost nobody there.
And they change out the bears. You're also going to see Big Al. I think we'll be showing him in a moment.
And Big Al did this really fun thing. They have a health announcement that plays every so often, and he was kind of modeling the 6-foot distance and
cover
and
your
that.
face and all these things, and wash your hands. I like when he did the
wash your hands.
I always enjoy seeing the country bear characters out, and I don't think you'll see a hoedown anytime soon, so this is as good as it'll get. Next, we went to Splash Mountain. Now, you decided to not join me. This was the longest line I encountered. We waited about 35 minutes or so, but this was the first day back, and I really wanted to ride it, seeing that it's going to be rethemed. And I hadn't ridden it for years and years.
I haven't either, and I actually thought I was looking forward to it, but the the guests behind us were kind of fiddling with their masks, and I was like, I'll go do something else. And I actually went and rode the flying carpets.
And then you got some nice video that I missed, I think, the princesses, so that was very good. So anyway, I went with our cast member friend, and we were able to enjoy the queue and everything, and it was just nice to be back. Like I said, it had been a really long time, because I usually have camera equipment, and I don't want all that to get wet, but in this case, they gave us plastic bags at the first day when they went through security, so I was able to do it no problem. And you can see they do have the distancing, and everybody actually was very, very good. I didn't see anybody getting too close. Everybody wore their mask the whole time.
Because our friend made you jump in front of the other people, right?
No. He said something to the ones behind us.
Okay.
And then they put the people behind them in front of them, so we didn't have to deal with it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it all worked out.
Yes, they were. I thought they would be a problem.
No, it was just fine, and again, it was very nice. Here is the queue here, plenty of room, and we're about to get in. Now, what I really liked about this is every party, at least on this day, every party got their own log. And so there were 2 of us, and we were able to sit anywhere we wanted. So I sat in the front, and my friend sat in the very back, and he got much less wet than I did.
And I would say, like, our friend said he was a little apprehensive going to the Magic Kingdom, but he
almost didn't go. Yeah, he was afraid of asking us and then backing out. But he ended up saying that he was so happy he went. He had a wonderful time, and as we did, it was great. And then it was even less crowded on the pass holder day. So here is just a quick look on Splash Mountain, which, it is a great ride. I do hope they keep some of the animatronics in the new version, especially in California, the America Sings animatronics.
Yeah, and, it may be a year before it's closed. Like, I would like to ride it at some point.
Right. And one thing I really loved about it is the splash was turned off. This is where I normally get wettest, because the big splash comes up, and that is artificially produced. So it was nice they were able to turn the splash down. Never better for the splash, for recording anyway. So I'm just going to show a couple little scenes, and there is Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, and we're about to go down the big splash. And I didn't even get that wet, even in the front row. So again, it's kind of nice with the splash turned down.
Yeah, next time at the Magic Kingdom, if it's not too crazy, it would be nice to be able to ride. But I did 2 rides on this day, although we did a lot the next day.
Right, we did a ton of rides the next day. There really was nobody
the next day.
And the busiest part of all was the Splashdown photo shop, and also the Briar Patch, where they were selling the Splash Mountain merchandise. Especially on this first day, there was a lot of eBay resellers there walking out with bags and bags of stuff. We couldn't get near it, so we were not able to get any Splash Mountain merchandise.
Well, I wasn't really trying. So
I have things anyway, so that's just fine. Now, this is from day 2 going on to Big Thunder, and it said something about a 10-minute wait, but as you could see, we never stopped walking until we got onto the train. But I really wanted to show you a lot of the new safety procedures that they have there, involving a lot of plexiglass.
Well, I thought it had said like 20 minutes or whatever, because I remember writing online it was 20 seconds.
Is that what did it say? It was there was no line whatsoever.
There was nobody in here.
This was the first I had seen, and after this we see plenty more of it, of the plexiglass. And sometimes if the aisleway is narrow, you can feel a little bit confined, but this one was just fine.
I never had an issue just because we were always walking past it.
Right, we moved very quickly.
Right, it wasn't like we were standing next to it as much. So I thought it was really nice. This is a way Walt Disney World will probably be for at least a year or two. I don't know for how long, but for a while. So it's actually just very good to see what the precautions will be, for your visit.
But I mean, in this case, it really was a bit narrow for me because I'm a bit larger.
Oh, I thought you were going to say claustrophobic.
I had big backpacks and things on. But Big Thunder, always fun, and it was, once again, just a few little clips of the ride itself. I really enjoed it.
And there's people on it.
And I wanted to show that they spaced out. There was a car between every party, so that is how they're loading the trains.
It was nice to be on Big Thunder again. The one thing is, you want to have your own hand sanitizer. I actually like the Suave hand sanitizer spray.
That's good stuff.
If you're going to be touching anything, because it's not sticky and it's just easy to use, and that's my favorite.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to mention, unlike Universal, they don't put hand sanitizer in your hands, in everyone's hands.
And I prefer that.
So that would be kind of nice if they had it, like they had a cast member spritzing it in your hands as you got on. Here is Captain Jack. You're able to interact with him from a distance, not too far, and it was fun. He was able to talk back and forth to us.
And then he left.
But I talked to him a little bit before this. And again, another of the processions. These, as I mentioned, not announced. And this was a good one, the Mickey and Friends Cavalcade.
But they happen often. So somebody had told me every 10 minutes. I don't know if that's the case, but it's pretty often. And that could be, I'm not sure. At least
every 15 minutes, and maybe even every 10. You never have to wait long for something to come by.
It could be, and we'll see the Main Street Philharmonic or, the trolley. And they certainly could make it just a little less often. But for now, it just felt like something was almost always going on somewhere.
And again, it's nice, you could just be walking around. You don't have to wait forever, and you see characters. Then you go on with your day. Next thing for us was It's a Small World, and it was truly empty when we were there, and they gave us our own boat.
And this was on the second day. We weren't even planning. At some point, I'm just seeing that nobody's going on a ride, and it's like, okay, why not?
Let's keep seeing how good it can be.
No,
that's what I
almost feel bad for the cast members because there's nobody enjoying their ride. So it's like, okay, well, let's go. And
it was nice. It was so nice to be on It's a Small World again. When we were riding this, I was thinking, I didn't think I'd be doing this for such a long time, and here we are. And it was the slowest It's a Small World ride we've ever had because we were the only ones in the boat. It didn't exactly go very fast.
Right. It was
took 20 minutes to get through it at least.
It's been a very long time since I've been to the Magic Kingdom where it's felt so comfortable. I mean, IPW, but
well, this is going to illustrate it right here. Peter Pan's flight, it says 15 minutes. And not really the case at all. It was pretty much zero. We never stopped walking. We ran it 3 times.
Mm-hmm. We never, and this is probably the busiest of the 3
Right, this was the first time.
The last time we went on, there really was just nobody getting on.
Yeah, they even opened a door and kind of cut the queue,
but
which is unheard of.
But we didn't see it. We went through the whole queue. But this was, it's been a nice opportunity, and I love
delightful.
Peter Pan.
It was a pleasant surprise. I love Peter Pan. We usually would only go on it if we could get a fast pass.
Right.
And right now, of course, there are no fast passes available, so it's standby only. It's kind of like going back in time, back in the 70s when they had ticket books almost.
Right. Yeah. It just it was just weird to walk through, and you just keep walking until pretty much you're on the ride, which was every single ride on our pass holder day, except for Pirates, because I think they were cleaning it. That's what you said, they were cleaning it.
Right.
We waited 5 minutes for that one.
But as you mentioned, this was the height of waiting for Peter Pan.
Right. Well, we didn't even really wait. I mean, we pretty much just walked right on. And this was the busiest of all our 3 Peter Pans.
And I know it's a scary time here in Florida we were going to mention about if we would recommend people coming or not. Today they had announced quite a few cases. So, I don't know if I would say to travel, but I feel safer at the Magic Kingdom. At least on my 2 days at the Magic Kingdom, I feel much safer than grocery shopping.
You don't go grocery shopping.
I have been to Costco.
Yes, okay, Costco
and
has
Costco
gotten
was
bad.
the most terrifying experience I've had. And even going to the garage was much more scary.
You mean to the Nissan dealership
The
to
dealership,
get the
correct.
oil change? Because
Correct.
they didn't act like there was anything going on.
It was like nothing, handshaking and
My
everything.
dentist actually was a terrible experience.
Real life seems much scarier to me.
Right. The parks actually seem like a bubble of mostly safe, where everything else around it, a lot of times, my Publix shopping trips are fine because I go in the morning and everybody's pretty much masked up. But I wouldn't personally recommend traveling right now. I would wait and see how everything goes. And also it's very hot in the summer, so I'm okay to wear the mask all
we're
day.
used to. We've been to Universal a lot. We've been out in the feel real 106-degree weather, which was this day, and there were times where we needed to go into something air conditioned, but I don't know, the mask doesn't bother me. In some ways it even is cooling, especially if you have those
that's what I've said,
those good Fox masks.
Oh yeah, Steve Fox, they have the really nice masks, and we should talk about them next week, but for now it's really hot, and I would see how the state of Florida does and maybe think about this winter or next year.
So it kept being good. So we were like, let's try Mine Train. We'll really give it a test to see what kind of line they had. And
no
once
test,
again,
it said 10 minutes or something.
10,
yeah.
But it was 0. At no point did my legs stop moving until we got to the loading area. And you can see they have more plexiglass in here. This is another case where it does get a little tight around some of these corners
I didn't plan to ride anything because generally I stick with outside. But because we could just keep walking and we're only inside for a couple of minutes at a time, I actually love to get on the rides, and it's something we really don't do normally. Is usually we do like People Mover because we can get on People Mover.
Which is not running.
It's not running right now, hopefully soon. But yeah, and also I just want to mention, we have to see if the parks end up staying open, and that's another reason maybe not to book the trip for this summer, but maybe try waiting for a number of more months.
Right, absolutely.
There's a lot to think about. We're in the middle of a lot going on, but these are our local parks. The difference is we can come here, enjoy it, or we can turn around and leave and be home in a half hour or less.
All that said, though, this day in particular was probably the best day I've had in the Magic Kingdom in recent memory.
It was for me as well. I had a very nice, a very comfortable, nice day, and there I am. This
was back to the first day. So this is a composite of both days because it was a little rainy here, and you could see Buzz Lightyear was out meeting, or not really meeting, but you can get selfies and walk up to the little bit in front of the stage and get a picture with him, which we both did.
And I think that is a lot more fun than standing in like a half hour to an hour wait. I actually prefer this way of seeing characters and, seeing performances.
But I know a lot of real big character fans miss the close interaction where you can hug them and you can get a picture really with them. And I get it. I really get it. I would, if we hadn't have done it so much, I would feel, if this was your only chance, I would feel a little bad not being able to hug them and get a picture with the characters.
I'm not really a character hugger generally, so I'm okay to have them behind me. But there's different ways, different people like different things.
And the band, we saw the band a number of times, and you could see the weather in the background.
I really enjoyed this, although, they don't stop. So you'll have to kind of move with them if you want to hear like a full song. Right,
which we did.
We did.
So that was good. And here is Gaston on his horse here. This was the Fantasyland procession, or what do you call them again?
The cavalcade. There is a lot of cavalcades. There's probably like 6 of them. And you have Gaston on horseback.
This is my second favorite, the second most elaborate. And it's not even that elaborate.
But why is Pooh here? Why is Pooh here? And also, why is Aladdin here? Because
Pooh lives in Fantasyland.
I know,
Pooh his ride is in Fantasyland.
He should be on the trolley, I think. But why?
Aladdin's in Adventureland, so that I don't know.
That was kind of now Jasmine is on the princess float, So it's just a kind of an unusual.
I think you're overthinking this whole thing, but you're right. If it says Fantasyland, I don't know why you have Aladdin there.
Yeah, I just think it's sort of it's an interesting and unusual set of characters, a combination of characters.
Right. But I do like these, and this float I think is from the Move It, Shake It, so it was nice they were able to repurpose them. But my favorite of all of the processions is coming up, and that's going to be the Princess Procession. To me, this is as close as you're going to get to a real parade, right? And here they come down Main Street. There's Merida riding her horse, Angus.
And I will mention, because I know everybody's seen it, they had an issue yesterday with Merida
with the
and
balloon
the horse
getting caught in the horse's foot.
And I guess Merida's actually a really good with horses.
I would think nothing less from Merida. Yeah. She did a fine job dismounting.
It was scary looking, and but she did a fantastic job, and so did the handlers there.
Now, this float should look very familiar to anyone who watches this show. This has been in the Happy Easter Parade. It's been in the Boo to You Parade. So many different parades we have seen this particular float. And here we have Tiana and Rapunzel.
Right, and then you have the big mirror float, right?
Which, once again, we have seen the mirror float for years and years. I think this goes back for decades.
A very long time, and this is like almost like a little parade. It's actually very nice, and it's very popular, and you have, let's see, Sleeping Beauty, and you have Ariel, and you have Princess Elena, and you have Belle, and
we're going to show both sides.
Fairy Godmother.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean,
and Jasmine.
If this is a great opportunity for the whole park to be able to see the princesses, and I know sometimes they appear on the train station as well, usually in the morning, I've heard.
Yeah, and
I've not seen them. We did not see them personally there.
And I like the music that it comes with as well. And we do have it up without the talking. We have it up with the music.
And I have another. The version you're seeing now, I have shot it with 3 different angles. So we're going to put that up soon as well. But we have one that you shot on the first day, which you did a great job of.
And I read also somebody saying that Merida actually does handle that particular horse, Angus here. Mm-hmm. So she's very familiar with the horse. So I thought that was really nice to know.
As I said, I would expect nothing less.
So there's Ariel and Princess Elena. Oh, and Snow White, I almost forgot, because I ended up being mostly on the other side anytime I saw
Right,
this
same
parade.
here. I had to make a last-minute decision to get over on this side, as I forgot I hadn't seen it. But yes, there it is. There is a Snow White, Princess Elena, as you said. I think I see Cinderella up there, and the Fairy Godmother. And we have seen the Fairy Godmother, especially this one, many times over the years. I think you'll recognize her. I'm going to zoom in a second.
And I do think like a theme mask, just like we see at Universal.
Oh yeah,
would have been nice here.
I forgot to talk about that. Yes, if all the princesses had masks, that would set a good example for the kids. I don't think the Fairy Godmother needs one. She's very high up.
So the kids actually have been doing a great job, in the parks. Everybody has. Like on our pass holder day, almost everybody had their 100% mask compliance, which I thought was wonderful.
And now we're looking at the classic characters up on the train station. Now this typically happens at the end of the day with this set of characters. They have a little goodbye segment. And if you miss it, I noticed they come out and do it a couple times in a row right at park closing at 7 o'clock, at least for now.
And this was at about 3:30 p.m. We were actually on our way out not much after this on the first day, because we weren't in the park all day each day.
Right.
I just think it's better we did about 6 hours a day.
Right, especially in the heat, the 100 and some degree weather there. It can get a little hot.
It was like 90 each day, but yeah, very hot.
But it's nice though, because they have these characters. They also have the other set of characters with Goofy and Max and all that, and then they have the princesses. So throughout the day, you can also see characters greeting from the train station, which is a nice little bonus and better for selfies than the parade, I think.
And I somehow missed the princesses up here. I saw these characters like 3 times, and it's just funny how maybe you'll see one thing happening over and over again, but you might miss something else. But there's always something to kind of look for.
Right. It sort of all depends on where you are. I think the princesses, though, I've heard are mostly in the morning.
That's possible.
So anyway, that was almost the end of the day, but one of the highlights that we haven't mentioned yet is coming up. It is the ducks. Disney ducks.
The ducks at Walt Disney World are totally different right now, especially in the parks, because I guess if they're at Disney Springs, they've been around people for a couple months now. but the ducks were they're acting unusual.
Yeah, they are unafraid. They're coming out and about, and I saw a video today where they kept trying to come out into the parade. So they're fearless, these ducks.
Well, they're not used to, they've been 4 months or whatever without guests around at this point, or maybe a few workers and such, but overall not too many people. And it was just funny. Like, I took a picture of them just sitting in the middle of, a walkway, and they wouldn't even move. So I went the other way.
And you could see a very quiet and relaxing exit for us. So that was it. 2 days at the Magic Kingdom. We want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Yep. We really appreciate their sponsorship. Check them out if you are planning to come here at some point. Or eventually the Disney Cruise Line, let's say for 2021, or Disneyland. I don't know when they're going to open. There's a lot of unknowns right now as far as what's going to happen. Plus, they also have Universal Fan Travel, and Universal has been open now for about 6 weeks.
So next week, we're going to be going to all the rest of the Walt Disney World parks, starting with Disney's Animal Kingdom tomorrow. And then we'll be at Epcot for the first day, and also the first day of the new festival they have over at Epcot. And then we'll hit Disney's Hollywood Studios the day after that. So we will have experienced all the parks by the time we do another show. Yeah. Hopefully, as long as everything goes according to plan.
Right, and I take every day as it comes. Right, and today Animal Kingdom looks pretty slow, really slow. So if it's like that, then I will be very happy to be there.
Yeah, and the weather looks great. We can leave a little bit later tomorrow. Have a nice day. I look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the characters, because I've heard they're going to have special things. I've seen already with Disney's Animal Kingdom, they have the characters out on the little boats, on the pontoon boats. In Epcot, you'll probably see them on the bus going around World Showcase.
I just love the animals at Animal Kingdom. I enjoy it, and I don't know if we'll do as many rides as we did at the Magic Kingdom.
It'd be nice to do the safari if we can.
I would like to do the safari. I just like to get a walk around, and I don't have to go inside too many places just to, see the parks and all. It's just very nice.
Well, one thing I like about Animal Kingdom is there's a lot of outside dining, and we only do outside dining. I would probably recommend only doing outside dining for now to be safe. And there's a lot of that, which some of the parks don't offer as much. The Magic Kingdom has limited outside dining. And
Flame Tree is a good option that you were talking about. And, I would like to see more at Universal also, just more dining and tables being pushed outside, just to make it a little safer for everybody.
So that will be very interesting. We'll have a lot to report on our next show. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you all next week, and stay safe.
Have a great week.